There's a lot of uncertainty surrounding the Arizona Cardinals at this point in the offseason, but there are some truths. What are they? Let's discuss.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Clancy, Locked On Cardinals. 2027 will be explosive, but 2026 will be messy yet constructive. And Mike LaFleur plus a rookie quarterback would be reliving a cycle that we just got out of. These are some truths that we need to discuss as we take a little pause here, where free agency is starting to wane, even though it's technically in full swing. The draft is a few weeks away. There are some mock drafts abound that we'll get into later in the week, but there are some truths, and they're not all great. But we got to get through it to kind of see the bigger picture of exactly where the Cardinals are right now. First, Mike LaFleur and the Arizona Cardinals were in an arranged marriage. Okay, both wanted what the Raiders got. Mike LaFleur wanted to be the head coach of the Raiders. The Arizona Cardinals wanted Clint Kubiak to be the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. Neither of those came to fruition. So after a couple days in the desert, Mike LaFleur left, and then he came back after both of those things happened in Vegas, and now the Cardinals are where they are. And now, this isn't a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It doesn't really, it's not one or the other. It's just a thing. Neither entity wanted to be where they are now as their first choice. Sure, short list for sure. Could it work out 1,000,000%? But we need to kind of look at this under the guise that this is kind of awkward for everybody. This is a baby giraffe that just got born, pretty much. After the debacle that was last year, whether it be through play, coaching, injuries, whatever it is, this is where we are. That already happened, and this is already where they are. So a truth is, this is going to have to be a marriage that's worked on from day one. This wasn't serendipity. This wasn't, oh, this is what everybody wanted the entire time. But it is now, and this is where they are moving forward. You saw Mike LaFleur was speaking at the owners' meetings today, just talked a little bit about, the parting ways of Kyler Murray and where they are as a group and in the quarterback room and stuff. And, he gave some insight. I mean, he spoke. There's really not much that you can get from anybody at this point in the offseason. But it just made me think like, man, this wasn't anybody's first choice. Anybody involved, meaning Mike LaFleur or the Arizona Cardinals. But again, that doesn't mean it's bad, but it's also truthful. The next truthful thing that is directly correlated to that is, if the Arizona Cardinals were to draft Ty Simpson or another quarterback in the first 2 rounds, while that seems very far-fetched at this point, it would be restarting a cycle that everybody just got out of. First-time head coach, maybe over his skis a little bit, drafting a rookie quarterback, and then trying to probably force it to work, but maybe before he was ready. I'm not comparing Kyler Murray to any quarterback in this draft. And maybe this is just me being shy to the idea after what we just experienced the last couple of years, even though there were some really nice highs over the 7 years. The truth is, it makes a rookie quarterback, it makes a rookie head coach's job more difficult when you drop in a rookie quarterback on top of everything else that he has to handle. And I understand the pushback on this a bit. So, well, he's a head coach. Who cares? He's an offensive guy. You got a quarterback's coach. You got an offensive coordinator. It's not your only job. Okay. Do you think the Cardinals can afford to drop something else on Mike LaFleur's plate in 2026? Do you think it's the most prudent use of his time? We need something exciting. Get a dog. There's going to be exciting things in 2026, trust me. And I don't say that with the backhanded sarcasm or things like that. There's going to be exciting things this year. There's going to be exciting things. And I'll talk about that in the second segment. But arranged marriage plus drafting a rookie quarterback to compound things to try and force the issue, for me, sounds like a nightmare. Sounds like a nightmare. Now, let me just say this one thing about the quote-unquote arranged marriage. It's not a bad thing, okay? And I don't think either LaFleur nor Michael Bidwell, Monty Osborne, saw this maybe as what the end result was going to be, even though it was probably the path of least resistance when it came to where the Cardinals were and where Mike LaFleur is with his history of coaching, which is null as a head coach, obviously. And the Arizona Cardinals coming off one of the most embarrassing seasons they've had in the last 20 years. But it's still a thing. It's still a truth. And the quarterback thing fascinates me. I'm starting to see, mock drafts where Carson Beck is going in the third round of the Cardinals. And then Drew Aller's another name. People just throw out names at this point. The Penn State kid. Like, okay. I am wildly stubborn on keeping things as simple for Mike LaFleur as possible in 2026. This is not demeaning his intelligence. This is not diminishing all of the years he spent around great head coaches at all. It's not a backhanded thing. It's not direct attack. It's nothing like that. It's actually a compliment. It's actually a compliment where it's like, okay, we know that you can work with that. We know that you can work with that. We know you can work with this skill set. We know you can work with a quarterback stature like Jacoby Brissett. We know these things. We know that Tyler Allgeier is probably going to thrive in this offense. Let's stick to what is known, or as close to as known as the future is. Let's stick to those. Let's not overcomplicate. Let's just, what is it to remember the Titans line? It runs 7 plays. It's like Novocaine. Just give it time. It'll work. Just do that. For me, Mike LaFleur's biggest task in 2026 is Marvin Harrison Jr. That's the biggest task. Jacoby Brissett can come out and play competent offense. They're going to be able to run the ball. Trey McBride's Trey McBride. If Michael Wilson's 70% of what he was last year, fine. Marvin Harrison Jr. is the big mystery here. And then obviously what happens on defense. But keeping it simple, that should be one of the truths. That's an honorable mention. Keeping it simple. Utilize the skill set of the players that you have. Draft an offensive lineman. Draft a pass rusher. If you want to draft a wide receiver, go buck wild. What Mike LaFleur does well already is what the Cardinals need to accentuate. And I think dropping a rookie quarterback into this will make things a lot more frantic than they need to be in a transitional year. And transitional year is not a bad thing. Transitional year is not, they're going to get relegated to college football. Transitional year is going to be the foundation for 2027 when they've got all of King Midas's gold. When they've got it all. They're going to be the belle of the ball in the offseason. They're going to have all their picks, probably a top 10 pick. They're going to have all the money. And they're going to have some stars on this team. Like, this isn't like a expansion draft where, the Boise Cardinals they get players from everybody and they just get thrown. Like, the Cardinals are going to have stars still. They're going to have a lot of money. They're going to have all their picks. And hopefully a very solid first year as head coach from Mike LaFleur. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. As I mentioned, 2026 will be messy but constructive. It sounds bad. It's not. We'll discuss it next. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by Robinhood. What if sports were traded like markets? Now you can put your sports IQ to work in real time with Robinhood prediction markets. It's not you against the house. It's you participating in a live market. And you can buy or sell your positions live all game long. Use your sports knowledge in the moments that matter. And Robinhood prediction markets, it just changes the game. It's people moving the action. So when momentum shifts, you can move with it. I always knew the game, but never had a dynamic way to apply the knowledge. Now I can actually take part live in a market powered by people. You're no longer just a spectator. Play by play, you decide. Trade every play with Robinhood, now available across the U.S. Download the Robinhood app now to begin. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm. Please go to the YouTube channel, search Locked On Arizona Cardinals. Hit that subscribe button, man. Come on. Join the Everydayers Club. Ad-free episodes. Discord. Link is in the description. LockedOnCardinals.supercast.com. singularcom.com. So I was thinking over the weekend, what is 2026 going to be like? I was like, okay, so it's going to be a tough schedule because, the NFC West and then, 11 other games. We got tough opponents, a lot of question marks. Will everybody come back healthy and show sustainability in that respect? Or are the Cardinals going to have to look a different way in 2027 at key positions? Obviously, that one's not going to be able to be, come to fruition until the end of December, early January. But the messiness of 2026 will be a new head coach figuring it out, and that's not bad. It'll be a defensive coordinator. See if he can reignite this defense to be the top, under 20 points per game first 5 weeks of last year, and then obviously holding Dallas, who had the second highest scoring team through 9 weeks or 8 weeks, to 6 points on offense. When that was the time that this defense was healthy, and then everything kind of fell off the tracks. You're going to figure out which second-year guys you can trust. You're going to figure out which third-year guys you can trust. Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be the biggest spotlight, I would assume. Question marks aren't scary. Question marks aren't unsettling. But the outcome of those said question marks will tell a tale of everything. So I guess I went. Did I just go philosophy on you? Shakespearean? No. Question marks. Let's run them down. Let's run down the messiness of 2026 as pertaining to figuring out what you got. Clean, you know what you got. Messy, you don't. Let's start with the longest shots as of right now to be full impact guys for a second contract with this team. Darius Robinson, BJ Ojulari, Zaven Collins will probably still be around. I'm assuming they would have cut him already. You could do post June 1, but you could designate a post June 1. I'm assuming he'll be back. So Darius Robinson, BJ Ojulari, not great. And then, Garrett Williams, injury-wise, we'll see if he comes back and can play a full year. He's going to be in a contract year. And then you have the younger guys, Will Johnson, Denzel Burke, Starling Thomas coming off injury. That's a lot. So you got all 4 of your top corners, Max Melton. 5 of your corners have question marks for some reason or another. Messy. Garrett Williams, obviously, for injury. And then Will Johnson for injury / can he really jump into that CB1 role? Oh my gosh. I looked at, I was scrolling Twitter this weekend and I saw a throwback to the last mock draft. I can't remember who the pundit was before the 2025 draft. Will Johnson, 9th overall. I'm like, man, Cardinals got him in the 40s. Let's see if this dude can be the guy for the future that they need. Because if Garrett Williams can come back healthy and Will Johnson can really solidify himself as a guy, as a CB1, Cardinals will be rocking. But notice how many question marks already on defense. BJ Ojulari, Darius Robinson, Garrett Williams for injury, and then Denzel Burke, Max Melton, Will Johnson, and Star Thomas for injury. But, he played really well towards the end of the 2024 season before tearing his ACL. So if 3 of those 5 pop, Cardinals are in really, really good shape. And if they don't, we'll be drafting a corner every draft until the cows come home. And then, honorable mention, Adrian Taylor-Demerson. I guess you got to throw him in there. So 6 DBs, which is pretty much their entire rotation. It's pretty much their entire rotation outside of Sean Murphy-Bunting. Question marks. Another question mark. Cody Simon. This is a little bit lesser than. He played very meaningful snaps after Mac Wilson went out. I would assume, unless they draft a backer or bring one in late. I know they brought in a rotational piece, but I would love to see him alongside Mac Wilson in 2026. What if they got an absolute steal in the 4th round last year? Defensive MVP of the national championship game, his last year in college. Why not? Why not? But those are all question marks, and that is under the umbrella that is Nick Rallis. One big question mark, messy. But if 80% of those guys level up, this is going to be one of the better young defenses in football. Plus, the Cardinals will have money to spend. Plus, they'll have all their draft picks. So as you can see, it'll be messy but constructive. This entire season is a barometer check for what the next 3, 4, 5 years is going to look like. And I know that it sounds like a consolation prize. And I know that it sounds like, oh man, that's defeatist attitude. Oh, this team's going to suck. I'm never going to talk about it that way. They're probably not going to win many games, but they're going to compete at a very high level. And these aren't going to be 40 burger blowouts next year. They're not. The entire team was hurt in the second half of last year. Come on. Now, on offense. I mean, the question mark, I'll leave the biggest one for last. One question mark for me is, can Tyler Allgeier be that RB1 where he gets 25 touches a game? Because I'll tell you what. Yes. We'll see if they use him like that. The Kyron Williams, Blake Corum thing could very well be Tyler Allgeier and Trey Benson by year's end. We'll see where James Conner fits in. They wouldn't have brought James Conner back, and James Conner wouldn't have taken a pay cut to stay here if they weren't going to use him. He could have got money elsewhere. I think he really likes being here, man. I think he really likes being here. The Cardinals took a shot on him after the debacle in Pittsburgh, and they've given him 2 contracts since. It's like, listen, this is home. This is home. But big question is, can Tyler Allgeier be that RB1, like true RB1? I feel like the only reason why he hasn't been is because Bijan was there in Atlanta. That's one. It's a lesser than. Here's for the people who question Paris Johnson Jr. Is Paris Johnson Jr. that franchise left tackle? He's shown the trajectory of that. No questions asked. He's shown the trajectory. Even though he played on the right side his rookie year, played pretty well out of position, even though he played it sparingly in high school and college. Moved over. He has not by any stretch been a reason why this Cardinals offensive line has imploded. Not even close. Now, that's not to say, well, you get a contract because you're not the main reason why an offensive line implodes. I know. But this is going to be, I mean, they're not going to extend him, I would assume, this offseason. I'm assuming they wait till next year because it's a year early. I mean, unless they want to just extend it and throw the cheese next season. I don't know. Whatever they do, he's not going anywhere. And this is going to be a big year for him. It's not a big year to prove that he's worth a contract. I think he's already proven that. But it shows how high of a level his ceiling is. And we'll see it this year. It'll be fascinating to see what he and the other offensive linemen look like when they don't have to pass protect 50 times a game. When they're actually able to run the ball with some sort of sustainability. That's one. And then, you could throw Isaiah Adams in there. The offensive line played well down the stretch last year. Okay. I knocked Isaiah Adams in the pre. I didn't knock him. I said he's not the guy to start in right guard. He's just not. He's just not. When Will Hernandez comes back, and then boop, Will Hernandez is back. Will Hernandez had a down year last year, and then also got injured. Isaiah Adams is kind of an honorable mention. This year is really just about Marv. It's really just about Marv. Michael Wilson is at least shown with some sort of recency that when given the opportunity, he maximizes it. Marvin Harrison Jr. hasn't shown that. He had a solid rookie year. Last year, had some dropsies, had some really great catches too. Messy, but constructive. With all of the question marks that I just mentioned, if 80% of those things, which is not far-fetched, if 80% of those things bounce the Cardinals' way, they're going to be a lot better than people think. And that is not far-fetched one iota. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. Now let's talk about the positive stuff. Let's talk about the fun stuff. 2027 is going to be an absolute explosion of excitement. We'll discuss it next. YouTube channel, subscribe, Big Dumb Face, 5 days a week. 2027 is going to be so damn fun. You guys deserve this. You guys deserve this. I just wanted to go through, this is where we are. I do this once a month, once every few weeks. I mean, I do 5 shows a week. It's like 5% of those a month can kind of be like, hey, let's just chill. Let's take stock of everything that's going on right now. The draft is a few weeks away. Free agency was underwhelming. But if you got these guys coming back from injuries that, in key positions, Walter Nolan, like I even throw Walter Nolan to the question mark. I'm more, excited about Walter Nolan than probably any other defensive player in 2026. Probably Will Johnson. I mean, having a cornerback 1 is just, woo! How many are there in the league? Like true CB1s? Like 10? 10? The Cardinals can have one of those. Ooh, baby. But Walter Nolan, I'm super excited about as well. You got these guys coming back healthy. You get a new offense, completely new offense. It's not going to be stagnant. They are going to run the ball. So don't think that they're not going to run the ball. While what Sean McVay does is out of orbit, it's out of rational thought. I make the joke like, I feel like the Rams run 90 plays a game, 100 offensive plays a game. Everybody gets touches. Matthew Stafford throws the ball 45 times. Kyron Williams runs the ball 25. Blake Corum gets 15 touches. It's like everybody, if that's the offense, and it's not even a hurry-up offense. It's crazy. Like, it doesn't make any rational sense. This is an offense that's going to scheme very well for Jacoby Brissett. Not saying Jacoby Brissett's a guy for the future. 1-11. I know we don't have to go back and forth about that anymore. It's been months. But with the case study, the 2026 will be not just for the players, but for the coaches. 2027, they'll be ready to rip. And I know it's difficult to always say, well, kick the can down the road, and then it's like a dog trying to chase a car. It's like, well, you never caught the car. It's like, yeah, but it's exciting to chase the car. I know, we're chasing the car. I get it. But when you look at like tangible, oh man, I just had a flashback to when I said all last offseason, there are concrete things that changed with this team. I can't see this team not winning 8 games or more. Oh, I'm going to cry. The Cardinals actually have things that, like, the $180 million is not going to evaporate because they lose a bunch of games this year. They're going to have so much money to spend. And I know that you don't usually build contenders just through free agency. I get that. Usually really good teams don't have all that much cap space because they're either re-signing the players they draft or trading for players, or, they take a flyer on a free agent, it works, and then you extend them. Like, I know, but that doesn't remove the fact that the Cardinals are going to have over $180 million to spend and the boatload of picks. So they can do quite literally whatever they want. And in a draft where there's going to be teams, they're going to want to move up and draft a quarterback. And if the Cardinals want to trade for a star quarterback who happens to wear a jersey with orange and black stripes on it. I don't know. They could. 3 first-rounders? Sure. Send it over. Water's warm. Like, this is not, and Monty Osborne obviously knows this, and this is where we are. This was not the year to take a swing. Next year's the year to take a swing. It could get very weird for the Arizona Cardinals next year, in a good way. So, say 60% of the question marks that I discussed in the last segment pan out. Say Will Johnson, Marv figures it out, Walter Nolan, Max Melton comes back, Denzel Burke, whatever it is, and then Tyler Allgeier is RB1. Say you figure that out. And Cody Simon. Say like 60% works. That is a real nucleus of young, exciting talent for this team for the future. Young guys. 25 and under. To where all you have to do is load this roster with veteran leadership and veteran talent. Draft well. I know it seems like a lot. Well, yeah, but all these things have to happen. So it's so far away. It's really not. Who's going to be making those picks? Who's going to be making those moves? I don't know. I'd love to have the debate of, would you rather Monty Osborne or first-time GM with all of the money and all the picks next year? I love that debate. First-time GM, really? Somebody that's never handled a salary cap before? No, Monty Ellisworth sucked. Okay, so what's the lesser of two evils? We'll be talking about that a lot. Unless the Cardinals win 6 or 7 games this year, and I think Monty will be back. I think Monty will be back regardless. 2027 is not something that comes around very often because it only happens once. 2027 only comes around once in a while for teams where it is a massive hard reset on allocation of funds. Like, that's $180 million. So, and I know that it's going to go down a little bit because there's going to be extensions, I'm sure, this offseason. But they're going to have so much cheese. And they've got, like, this is the thing that I try to implore to people. And maybe I'm rosy, maybe I'm rose-colored glasses. Maybe. They've got so much young talent on this team. That's very rare for a team that's going to have that much money to spend the next offseason. Like, this was like the Cardinals getting a bye in the tournament last year. And you obviously don't want anybody to ever get injured. Like, all the injuries, it's like a sneaky tank. Accidental. They were accidentally tanking last year. So you get Walter Nolan back. You get Will Johnson back. Hopefully you get Garrett Williams back within the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season. You've got a new offense. You've got a new RB1. You've got Trey McBride coming back. You've got Budda Baker coming back. We've got like a collection of things when we look at this team that's like, it's really not so bad. Are they the best roster in football? No. Are they a top 20 roster in football? Probably not. That may not be true. Just on paper, they've got to be a top 20 roster. Maybe 20th. They've got to be a top 20 roster. But then you implement the new offense, a more competent, balanced offense that can feature multiple pass catchers. You know who the quarterback's going to be week 1, which, whatever. You're going to have a full draft kit of players, hopefully with a right tackle in tow, so the offensive line is better right away next year. And you've got a clear direction on who you think the young core is going to be if they can replicate in a bigger sample size in 2026 what they did in 2025. If Walter Nolan's 80% of what he was when we saw him in the first couple games, he's going to be an all-pro. Like, I don't think people understand, and I know it's small. I know it was small, okay? I know. Will Johnson looked more than competent. You've got a game wrecker, interior defensive lineman, and a CB1. You got Josh Sweat. You got some other pieces. This team isn't as far off as people think. If 80% of the what-ifs come to fruition between 2026 and 2027, and I don't think that's far-fetched at all. Alex Clancy, Locked On Cardinals. Remember, without you, there is no me. I'll talk to you tomorrow.